Yo, what's going on, kings, queens, and phenomenal beings? Welcome to another episode of the Felon to Phenomenal podcast. Ha! I didn't acknowledge the fact that it was recording. I intentionally did that.
Just so you just acknowledge it right
Well, look, I had to let people know that I did
now.
do it.
Right.
You know what I'm
That you
saying?
did do it.
I'm trying
Right.
to, man.
Hey, good job.
You know what I'm saying? Look,
Right.
sometimes you gotta celebrate yourself. You worry about other people celebrating, you gotta celebrate yourself.
Big
Man,
facts.
I am Coach T, reentry specialist, mindset coach, whatever you want to call me. Uh, just talk to me nicely.
It's
Uh,
down there too. DJ TNT.
well, yeah, for those of y'all who know me on that, that's who I am.
You
I
really let
am,
that go, aren't you?
yeah. I'm the host, uh, joined by my awesome co-host, my brother in crime. Yeah.
Hey, that big brother in crime for real.
Yeah,
And brother in Christ too. That's my little freestyle version.
absolutely, man.
And what a transition.
Yeah, go ahead and talk to the people for a little bit. Let me respond to this text message because I don't know what's happening.
Okay. What's going on, people? Well, yeah. Tangy, big co-host, brother, brother here. That's one of them other names that y'all probably know.
Right?
Yeah, that y'all don't know. That's what I call her. To me, it's Coach T to you. It's Tangy to me, baby.
Oh, look, he get look. Let me take the reins back. He telling people all my other names. Just no, I'm just saying. It's on my social media if you fool with me, man. Uh, but here we are, another day, above ground. How are things? What's
um,
been up with you?
um, man, I don't even know how to describe it right now, but I'm not feeling too good about what transpired today. Um, I did my little step further, supposedly. Took me a million steps backwards.
What you
Uh,
talking about, man? You talking cryptic? What we talking about?
I adjusted the printer
Oh,
to do the inks and everything for it and put it in there. And I made a T-shirt with it yesterday, and the prints came out full but incomplete. I got the result of what I would get with the hack by using sublimation ink for a DTF hack, which uses sublimation ink for DTF paper and the powder, which what happens is with sublimation it doesn't have the color white. So if you have white on your photo and you put it on a white t-shirt, that will be empty and the white will be what you see from the t-shirt.
right.
That's that's the result I got for DTF ink and DTF paper though. I wasn't supposed to get that result. So it wasn't printing up the white. And come to find out today, after I asked him questions about some people that I watch videos on that's kind of good with it, and he was like, "Did you do a test print?" So I did a test print, and it's coming out color is bad. But not to mention, when I did it last night, the ink didn't look as vibrant
Look,
as it.
I got a question. Just because we talking about something a lot of people might not know what you're talking about. I mean, you are carrying on a conversation that we had offline, but you also, for those of you who have watched previous episodes, to know T is in the t-shirt industry, trying to work on his brand really, but willing to do the work himself. But just a question, because I don't think we ever talked about this and asked, because just as we have our different goals, there are different tactics. And I know that I'm willing to do hands-on things like that, but I mean, I my choice to be willing to learn how to screen print comes from my lack of capital. The fact that you have the capital, have you ever thought about just investing in the design from a professional level and then outsourcing it to people who already have this particular knowledge?
You talking
Because
about for the logos or the
for
prints?
the print, I mean, yeah, you would still outsource the the design, I mean, just but it does. It might the outsourcing of the design is just having somebody professionally make it into whatever format they need it. Not that they would be starting from
Oh,
scratch, but then you take that design to the actual printers who have already beat the learning curve that you have, and just have them printed. Like, have you ever thought about that? I mean, because I
nah.
know, I mean, I'm in your business a little bit. You got the capital.
And you give me back for that name thing. Is that what they I did think about it as far as like someone professionally doing like the designs, but I didn't as far as doing the printing.
Hmm.
I I actually just found this out lately. I get a joy out of doing the printing
Okay, perfect.
and a
Yeah.
fulfillment. Yeah, that's how I almost forgot about our meeting. Because
Mhm.
once I was called off from work, I'm like, man, I'm gonna turn this print on because I get a whole new type of rush
Mhm.
in it that kind of make me feel like I'm passionate about it. And it might wait though. It might just be the creating and building part because I enjoy doing that as
Or
well.
the problem solving.
Or the problem solving. Absolutely, because I love to do that. I
Yeah.
love to do that. Absolutely. So with that, and now, yeah, basically. So I didn't even think about that part.
Mhm.
I don't even think I would take that avenue, even though I do have the capital.
Mhm.
I probably would do it if I get like some orders
Mhm.
that are kind of more drastic than what I'm able to handle myself,
Mhm.
or even when it start flourishing, yeah, probably start doing that and probably link up, get a whole little facility and a bunch of little equipment and have somebody professionally that know how to do this and team up with them and get in that area when it comes to that education because
Gotcha.
that's what it is. Because like right now, I gotta unclog my printer. I think, but one thing I found out is that I'm not getting the error that everybody is getting once it's clogged up and you like mess up the print head. So that's why
Okay.
I'm like I don't know how to what I'm feeling right now. But I hit a milestone right now to the
Okay. So
point
you
of
feeling that type of way because you
absolutely.
haven't. So what would you describe this? Would you describe as a negative result, or like how would you describe what's happening and how you feel? Because this happens on a day-to-day basis. Like these incidents or these how you describe it as a step back. These are what happens on a day to day basis, and some people lose their minds or throw their hands up and revert back to old behaviors and put themselves at risk of you know
Repeating patterns.
yeah ruining their
Yeah.
lives or hurting
Right.
themselves or just not
Right.
making the good decisions. Because this is the thing, it's not that life won't happen. It's just we're learning how to manage ourselves in the midst of life happening.
Right.
So yeah, so just if you could explain, like, how would you describe it? Like, what's your mentality of it, and how that got you feeling, and what's your strategy for working through it?
It's twofold. I have a negative and a positive. The negative is the feelings, technically, on
The
what I
what?
feel. The
The
feelings
feelings, okay.
that I feel by it, it is a combination of discouragement and I'm gonna just say just the discouragement part.
Mhm.
More so of anything. Now that I'm saying it aloud, first time speaking it is with you guys, so y'all should feel special. But anyways, uh, because at that point I was like, man, I'm through. You know what I mean? But I see it as positive as well because this is how it's positive. For one, I'm forced to learn this that I need to know to prevent it from happening in the future. Whereas I can be buying a whole nother printer. Because from what I hear with other people on seeing it, like one of the guys that I follow, even on Facebook, he's basically saying that the step that he took in order to unclog it was the last step that he'll normally take. And it's because it was a drastic situation where they got errors on it, they can't do nothing and all that. I'm not getting that. Really, my printer is still coming on. I can still set up everything. It's still I don't have no errors or anything, but I'm just not getting any prints. The first one, it was low. So in that sense, I kind of see it in a positive way to be able to catch it right now, and to it not to be hurting me in the long run, to the point that it would really discourage me to be like, man, forget this altogether and don't even want to do the brand altogether. Because then that type of frustration will cause you, like you said, to go in those. And you just coming up with these thoughts right now. I do have an order that's coming up, and say if I can't get this printer to work, it's gonna work before the end though. But I'm just saying, out of speculation, say I couldn't get it to work right now, I could take that capital, like you're saying, and take it to somebody with these designs for that print for the long run, in order for me to get what I need to make for that order. You know what I mean? So in that sense, that's how the positive way that I see it as. It's just like a learning experience, something that I can gain in the process while I'm doing it that I'm gonna need for the future. Because one of the thing is that they talk about, like, as you're dealing with these printers, like there's a consistent maintenance that you have to deal with it. You have to keep it clean order than that, or you're gonna run into these type of occurrences. So it's better to do it in a lightweight like this rather than doing it heavyweight where it costs me more, and I just throw my hands up with it all together, and then that throws away a whole bunch of other stuff as far
Okay.
as so.
So look, you talked a lot about in private, not online. I don't recall us having that conversation, but you talked about implementing resilience to your tool belt, to your arsenal. Do you consider that to be a resilient moment?
Absolutely, I do, and I'm proud of myself. Thank you for recognizing that. No, I'm sorry, that was the wrong word. Thank you for pointing that out, because that gives me a whole different motivation and attitude towards the situation.
Mhm.
Regardless of the fact I was going to continue to try to get it figured out and do it, but that's just my problem solving. So, I solve problems. That's what I do. But at the same time, it still keeps me attached to the dream, attached to the goal, and continuing to be motivated to be like, yeah, you can still do this. There's still hope. So thank you for that. And yeah, I definitely consider that, because now I have to look at the situation as a whole instead of how I feel. You know what I mean? Being discouraged and want to give up and quit. So this, like I said, I took one step further that was supposed to make me to be able to print on any type of shirt with any type of color, any type of way, and it's gonna broaden my networking and also broaden my like customer base
Well,
as
let's just
far as
break
them.
that down. Let's have a little fun with that. Let's have a little fun with that because you just talked about how basically kind of identified as feelings as just being a piece, a part of it. So if you don't mind, let's talk about it. Okay, the feelings being an indicator of what your discouragement is traced to what? Can you identify that? Because feelings are indicator, but I'm glad you didn't react off of your feelings and feed into it and throw your hands away. But let's talk about it. Why would you feel discouraged trying something you've never tried before?
Because it ain't work out the way I wanted to work out. To be
Okay,
completely honestly,
I
to be
can't move
completely
too fast.
honest with you,
We
huh?
can't move too fast. We can't move too fast. That's a highlight because it didn't work
That's
out the way you wanted it to. I just want to
right.
reiterate that. Go ahead.
You needed to reiterate that,
Yeah.
and then on top of this, because I really wanted it to be smoothly and easy, breezy, and
Come
it's
on, we
not.
all do. We all do. We all want it. Okay, that's real and that's honest. But I want to highlight something too that some people may not have in their life at certain parts in their journey. You had some information stored that you were able to implement that kind of gave you some sense of relief to keep moving forward or support
Right,
from the previous videos. Okay, information
right.
changes situations.
It
Imagine
did.
if you didn't have that information. What are some things you think might have happened if you didn't have that previous information? If you weren't doing research and digging and trying to solve your problem prior to.
9 times out of 10, I would have gave up. I would have just probably said forget it, because at that point, something new that I'm trying and something new that's occurring that's challenging me in the midst of it, I'm gonna feel like it's personal and that it's not for me to do. So I'm like, okay, forget it and just move on. When all along is not. This is a part of the business. Like these are things that you come across when you do it, which is why it's good to do that type of research and find out like what are the pros and the cons, because there's pros and cons to everything. So if you don't know that these are the things that you might incur, that might occur in the midst of this, then you're like, oh man, you know what I mean? But when you do know that, you're just like, okay, well, I knew that there was a possibility that this was going to happen. Just like I know the possibility of me trying to do this head cleaning head thing, that it's a possibility that it might not work, and I might have to go get a whole new printer. So in that sense, it's like, are you willing to sacrifice that in order to do it? Well, yeah, because I got one of the cheapest printers anyway in order to do it, and then had to convert and do the work in order to get it. But now, one thing I can say is, according to the results that I want, I no longer have to waste a significant amount of time I did since I had the computer. I mean, the printer, which was, it's been about, I ain't gonna say a long time, but I'm just saying the time that I did trying to figure it out. I already know what I have to do and what I need to do in order to do it. If I do get the new print, I can go straight to it. Boom, have it all done, have everything that I need in order to keep the maintenance up, keep it clean, keep it operating, and printing what I need to print in order to make my orders as far as it is.
Got you. So, what would you? Well, I guess we can classify your response. So we identified your feelings. We identified that you had some information stored and you didn't react to your feelings, but responded to what? What caused you to stay persistent in the midst of the the problem?
The vision, really,
What
really.
is it?
The vision,
The vision. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
vision.
Okay.
That's it. Is I mean, I see. Okay, you already put my business out there, so
What you mean? What?
I know I have the capital, so it's not gonna hurt as much
Okay.
to take. And the reason why I'm saying this is because this is the things that I didn't know about failure. I
Mhm,
feared failure.
mhm,
This is a failure right here. It
mhm,
might be a small one, but it's one that
mhm,
causes a person to rejoice. But I have the capital. So
mhm,
since I have the capital, I can learn from this mistake, which is not a failure. It's technically a lesson
mhm,
to me. This is just my perception of what failures are. So it's technically something that I can utilize. So since I do have the capital, all I have to do now is just not. It's not necessarily starting over, but just get another win and go along and keep going with the process to keep the vision going. You know
Gotcha.
what I
And
mean?
what is this vision you're referring to?
The brand,
Come on. Okay. So that's a part
period.
of your plan.
It's a
Right?
part of the plan.
A part of
That's
your
it.
plan. That's part of
It's
your
the
big
brand,
goal.
period.
So you got
That's
a
the
big
big
goal.
goal. I'm
So,
building something
yeah.
with Terrence's name that I'm honored that I'm the CEO, the president, the co-founder, however you want to call it. And I'm only saying that because me personally, I know I'm limited in my resources. I'm limited in my education. I'm limited in my knowledge. And when I do finish building this brand and this corporation, I probably won't be the initial person running it all together. I'm
Mhm,
going to get somebody else that's highly more qualified for it. You know what I mean? I
mhm,
build things. You know what I mean? I set trends. That's what I do. But I
mhm.
don't run them. I move on and go to the next one. You
Okay.
know?
Well, yeah, nah, I thought that resilience piece was big, and that vision, using that as a source to stay persistent, committed, and basically overcome the obstacle. Because now, as you problem solve, you have another tactic, another strategy to implement, and that was something that I wanted to say, but it's leaving me when it comes to. Oh, okay. So the persistence piece, the basically implement a new strategy, overcoming the obstacle per se. Uh, do you personally feel? Because you describe it as motivation, but I feel like it may be described as a personal notch or increase in the self esteem or confidence area.
Okay, I can see that.
I mean, that's what resilience builds.
I mean, that's new to me.
No, well, this is what I'm saying. Well, because when it comes to resilience, we
Oh, I can see that.
we differ in that space.
Okay.
And I had to put this out there for some people, because just as you are naturally disciplined and I had to build discipline, I am naturally resilient as you have to build it.
Right.
So I don't know if you noticed throughout our whole time
Absolutely.
knowing each other, I've always been confident. I've
Absolutely.
never struggled with confidence because I've always had the resilience and knew that I could push forward with anything. Like,
That's where we met heads at because I was too. I was just
yeah,
confident in different areas with
yeah.
it, but now
Well,
I
let's be real, because I mean I have to dissect that because I think it might have been arrogance. Because that's what I'm saying. If you lack resilience, my guy, it was not confidence. It was pseudo confident at best.
at best.
Like
Okay,
gotta be for
I can
real.
accept
It was
that.
just arrogance
Big facts. It
because you
definitely
were
was.
good at something.
Right. I
My
superseded it.
confidence didn't matter the genre,
Right. Right. Okay.
because either I was gonna learn Excel or I was already good at
Right.
it. Like, so, yeah, I just wanted to kind of talk through that because I mean
And I
that
think
go
that's
ahead.
good, and I think it was very important because as 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 you know, I kind of thought about it just those quick seconds. As far as you saying that resilience, that situation causing that does build that confidence because in that self esteem does go up because it's not the same. It's like okay, you know what, I got this, I can do this because of that. Yeah, I can even say that I felt. That's what I felt in the midst of that. It's like okay, so yeah, I can see that.
Nah, I definitely have to bring light to those moments because those are the moments that get us through on this journey from felon to phenomenal when the big things aren't happening.
What do you
Like
mean? Like expound on that a little bit more. Like what
like when I was in my own journey and didn't have work. You land a job. That's a big thing. But in the midst of that, how I operated in that job and uh, taking that job at Goodwill as a donation attendant, even though I have a degree in chemistry, I humbled myself to learn something and be of support to the people that I work with. And having seen that me humbling myself in that way had impact, that was a small moment, you know what I'm saying, that kept me through because I'd already had the big moment. Now I gotta work.
right.
I was there for 2 years. Ain't too much happened. It was kind of it was a struggle. I mean it was the first job. It was 7.25 an hour, and I had already been out of work for over a year. So it's kind of like you feel like you
Oh yeah.
catch up kind of thing.
Right. It is like
And
a catch up type of thing.
things still not adding up, but just in general in life, because not even those on the journey from failing to phenomenal, but everybody's always looking for the next big thing, like the next big thing to happen. Like, oh, I got a new car, I got a new house. Nah, we got to look at those small moments. Like, man, I really overcame that. Man, I didn't go off when I had to indicate confrontation with somebody. I didn't get into a fight. I went and paid off my debts or my warrants or whatever the case may be. These are wins that we can celebrate to add to that self-esteem and confidence. That's under the guise of execution. You are doing things toward your ultimate goal. There are goals at different levels and stages. All of them aren't the big bang. Some of them is just mundane, small, day-to-day stuff. Yep, did that. Still on the right path. Or because it could be the opposite. It's like, nah, I fell off today, hung out with the wrong people, did the wrong things.
Still on the right path.
Nah.
Well, I'm still on the
Well,
path.
I mean, ultimately, like
That's
if
what I
you
mean.
if
Right.
you want to look
Ultimately.
at that,
Right.
but I'm just saying, if you're consistently doing that, like you are what you consistently do, a fall off is a fall off. But if you're consistently, just as I talked about our 12-week challenge, and I'm 2 weeks behind, but from today, because I started today. In the next 70 days, I only need 30 days to finish one task,
Right.
and I got 70 left. There's
Right.
no way I shouldn't finish that task.
And I mean, I pushed myself. Perfect example though. My example, my goals that I had, you said was untangible.
Mm-hmm.
So in that sense, I became 1 week behind
Mm-hmm.
because I already had spent those no 2 weeks. I'm sorry, 2 weeks behind because I already spent the week on those goals as far as saying that this is what it was. When we came, you was like, but those not really tangible. Something more along the lines of the 12 weeks meeting was crazy. After that, I seen that it's a 12 year thing because I googled like, what do you do? And I call it as insignificant. When we was talking yesterday, that's what I was talking about. It
Mm-hmm.
was a 12 year. I didn't know that that's where you was going. But I remember when we did have that discussion when I was talking about what I seen like the goal plan was going to, that there are small increments to small short goals to lead you towards the big goal. So you agree with that, and that's why you agreed to it because it is the 12 year
12 week
thing.
year.
Well,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, 12
but
week year, and I fumbled it on the Monday night calls. So 12 weeks equal a
it's 12
year.
year, yeah,
1 week
12 week,
is a
is
month, and
fine,
1 day is a week.
yeah.
And this
Yeah,
is
you
how
go.
you create a sense of urgency around accomplishing your
Right,
goals. Because if you
right.
miss 1 day, you technically miss a week.
We
You know
exactly,
what I'm saying?
and
Just
that's what I proved.
worth of progress. Yeah.
Right, just a work in progress because I'm 2 weeks behind too.
Yeah.
Now we stated because I had messed up with not the information and the
Mhm.
knowledge and the understanding, which is different than this printing situation that I have. I
Mhm.
acted differently when it comes to that I had to go back and do some more research. Not being prepared for that, we discussed some stuff like that too when we was gone. Man, y'all gotta be with us. I wanted to record that meeting we was gone together, man. This is what we do. But anyway, let me stop rabbit trailing. So when the week you told me that it wasn't tangible, then I had to go back to the drawing board.
Mhm.
And now I believe I do have some three tangible ones.
Mhm.
One, I can definitely complete it way before it, but knowing that I got a lot of things on my plate, it's not a lot of pressure.
You get to
But I
plan
can
it out. You get to plan
exactly,
it out. And your
I get to plan it out
deadline is the
in my
12
deadline.
weeks. You know what I'm saying?
And my deadline is the 12 weeks. And then what you gave me today about the measurement part, as far as now take the days down, take the weeks, take the amount of hours, how much can I spend on this when I can break it and all that, because I do have that as far as time management,
Mhm.
the knowledge and understanding on how to break down that this is a certain amount of hours in a week. You
Mhm.
do this much at work, you do this much at the gym, you do this much at church, you do this much when you eat, you do this much as far as going back and forth to work and such and that. So now you got this remaining time. What are you going to do with it? And so with that, it's contrary. I'm also 2 weeks behind, but it also gives me that good frame to measurement as far as like getting these things done. And I think it's gonna be, I think it's gonna work out well though,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
yeah,
It's gonna be a win-win
right,
because ultimately, like I stated in the Monday night calls, man, this is the first time we even bringing out the 12-week challenge, the 12-week year, and it's about getting to know yourself and how you get in the way. Either you can't plan well with strategies and tactics to execute, or 50% of the time it's your activities that you are or aren't doing, that it's the execution.
right.
Like, I mean, yeah, planning is a part of it, but that's not the only part of it. And people stay in their head too much and don't actually get out and do action. And simply, I when you first brought up the whole resilience thing and we talked about it and you gained information and I see you implementing and it's working, but the only thing that I can really tell anybody to really overcome fear or resilience, you have to move. Like you have to either decipher between making the wrong or right decisions or the good or better decisions. You're not going to gain any clarity by staying in your head and throwing your pity party or wishing and hoping things would be different. Life is how it is. You have to step out there. You
That's
have
good.
to do some things that you've never done before. It's very uncomfortable. Change is painful, but if you don't do nothing else in the whole wide world, I say this, you know what your life gonna turn out. You can look at your family members and kind of basically say, yeah, if I don't do nothing else today, that's pretty much how I'm gonna be. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna have to stay with my mama or my cousins and
Right,
live out my days, or my children
right.
and live out my days, or I can work on being the best version of myself because what you chase turns you into something.
Right.
So we're
Absolutely.
we're we're going to pursue things that bring out the best in us and have a positive impact and influence on not only ourselves but those who have children, friends, family, your community, and strive and walk into the unknown and experience life on a whole new level and create new opportunities, create breakthroughs, create better relationships, have better experiences. I mean, live, man. We only have one life in the physical. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you gonna waste it being scared. You gonna waste it being woe is me. You know what I'm saying? You gonna waste it beating yourself up? I
I'm about
wish
to say,
I
yeah,
would.
that's another thing you end up wasting.
Wish I would.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. And you know that one piece that you stated right there. I replay that in my head right now. What we chase is what we become.
Mhm.
It sounds so simple and so but that thing right there just packs a lot of power. I
Oh
mean,
man. Yeah.
when you really just hear it and just tell that to yourself, like, because like the things that you're going after over and over, it's definitely shaping you into that. So it don't matter, like, whatever you're doing in order to conceive it or whatever you're doing to obtain it, and it's going to turn you into it. So that means if it's something that is meant for you, you know what I mean, it's going to turn you into something in that process. And if it's something that is not meant for you, it's going to turn you into something in that process as well.
Absolutely, and that's a great lead into me expounding on what I mean by being the best version of yourself. What I mean by living life on your own terms. I'm talking about being your most authentic self. We are all gifted and talented in our own way, and it is meant to be used in a particular way. But you have to find out who you are and how to use it. You like, we hear the phrases, what they say, find something you love and you never work a day in your life. Now
Right,
that doesn't mean you won't have a job. That doesn't mean you won't run a business. But when I do my Monday night calls, when I prepare for Monday, when I do my Bible study with you, when we do this podcast, like it's work, but it ain't work. Like
exactly.
I find delight in sharing this information. Now, when it's time to go cut grass, that's work. And I feel every bit of that. You know what I'm saying? And and
Right,
and even in the midst of that, the joy I get out of it is that I still have some type of mentorship situation in that,
right,
and you know just being fueled by that, but understanding I got to do what I got to do until I pass this teacher's exam and really get into another gift of mine, which is that of teaching. So yeah, now I ain't the best speaker in the world, but I feel like I can find million and one ways to say one thing, so you'll figure it out. Like you'll get it. Like I know how to say things a million ways, so majority of people will get it. Like
right,
be like, you don't understand that? Well, how about this?
right. Hey, that makes you a good speaker. I don't know what you're talking about. You got
Well,
that veracity to be able to speak to different people in different forms of languages. That's
when I
giftedness
say
right
that, I
there.
mean like the eloquentness of the performance and the keynote of it. Like when I talk, I'm just talking. Like we just having conversations. I'm a stutter. I'm a stammer. I'm gonna lose my thought. It's not gonna be as all concise and pulled together and clean like
Okay. Right.
these big presenters that do it on the big
Right.
stage. Man, I'm a fumble through it, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna be like, you get it? You understand? Do I need to try another way? I mean, I
Right.
will try.
Do I need to give an example?
You know what I'm saying? Like I would look them up because this is another thing too on my platforms, and I do more of it. But the point is, I don't even mind sharing other people's content because I just want you to get the information. I'm not saying I have to be the one you get it from. I want you
Right.
to have it so that you can be out here living. Like I mean, even where you are, even though you're not, where you want to be, and you're still, uh, I consider to be early in your own process, but you've kind of mastered or at least engaged with some of the critical obstacles that one has individually to be at a space where you can enjoy life for, you know what I'm saying, a little bit. Like you've done a lot of
Oh, you
things.
talking about me personally?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. I mean, just to be, because that I was just bringing that example in because
right,
I, I want everybody just to enjoy life. Like it comes with its challenges, it has its struggles, it is work, but it is to be enjoyed. We should not
right.
be miserable, and it's okay if we make mistakes. There's an opportunity to live again, but you do have to do a work. And I mean, it's tough, but like I wouldn't take that from away from anybody who's willing to do the work and go through the fire, because it
Because
is.
it's really freeing when once you realize that and you come to the conclusion of that. And you're right, even early on with it, and where I'm at with my journey and the things that I'm learning, the things that I'm being challenged with. I mean, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a lot.
Mhm.
Um, it's a lot that I thought I understood, but I know I don't understand because there's really like a lot when it comes to it, but it's not heavy. You know, it's real light and it's freeing. And what it is I think that it's so much internal work that we're trying to do to perfect it on our own that it just feels so heavy to trying to master it and get it done is that we're missing our opportunity to actually do the work that is beneficial and helpful because we're exerting a lot of energy the wrong way to really, I'm gonna say, accomplish a goal that is really unaccomplishable. And I
What you
say
talking
that
about there?
when I'm talking about there is like when an individual, okay, like you're saying, if I have in my mind that because I'm a perfectionist, that's why I'm
Mhm.
saying these things, and I wasn't very grace. I'm not graceful to myself. To others, I am. I'm moving on a step further to become gracious. I keep my foot on my neck. So, with that being said, it is very torturous and tormenting for me when I don't get things done right,
Mhm.
and that's a heavy burden on a person. It was a heavy burden on myself. I'm gonna just speak on myself personally. It is a very heavy burden on me, myself, as far as trying to make these things work out the way that I want it to work out, the way that I see it fit right now, and it has to be done. Other than that, you'll lose. That's heavy, and that's the work that I'm not allowing myself to go through things that I don't understand by experiencing it, taking others' insight as far as the different ways and approaches to handle this situation. Be grateful to myself even when I do mess up on things that I do know and understand by doing wrong, and being able to just relieve myself of that type of pain and torture of trying to make things right every time, all the time, right down the straight narrow line.
Mhm.
And that's just that personal work that we put on ourselves. There's really life is not doing it because a part of life is a lesson and it's to be learned. And in order to do that, you have to make mistakes to learn that. You have to, fail in order to do that. You have to take chances to step out there to see if it fits or if it doesn't fit. Outside of that, that's light work of doing that because it's not so much on you to try to get the results of that. You're kind of just learning as you're going and seeing what's fitting, then accepting the fact that it doesn't, and then try something else or go and see what really does fit. You're learning yourself in that process. Other than that, that's what I see. That makes sense.
Oh
Did I
yeah,
make it kind
no,
of clear?
we
Okay.
good. Yeah, no, you got it. You got it. You brought it on home. You know what I'm saying? I get what you're saying. That perfectionist piece, I can't relate. I mean,
A little bit.
look, I mean, for those of you out here struggling with perfectionism, or those who are like me and can't relate, I think that's where that morals, values, and principles come in heavy. It's like have a standard. And I mean, for you a perfectionist, it's like, first of all, if you're a perfectionist, You doing probably way more than the average person anyway. So your standard is should you should accept your best as your best, and that's it.
Big
Like,
fast because we overachievers.
yeah, because your best is already gonna be. Look, I ain't even gonna compare mine to yours because you know, you know what I'm saying. It's like, but accept your best is your best. But that's good that you ain't pushing that too much on other people. But I mean, for those of you who aren't even meeting the perfectionist mark, uh you gotta set a standard, like, and your standard gotta be above average. Like, we gotta start shooting. We got to start shooting high. You know what I'm saying? And the high shooting high is for the challenge of it. It's for how far you can push yourself, because if you never push yourself, you don't ever know how far you can go. And some of us don't have cheerleaders, some of us don't have support. So you gotta do it for yourself. But along that road, if you keep going, you're gonna meet somebody and you're gonna meet a group, or you can come join Felon to Phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? We the group, we the family, we the support,
Well,
uh
hey, we
information
got a
and
lot of
resources.
avenues, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of information and resources, all kind of
Yeah.
categories, yeah. If not, we gonna find somebody that got it for you.
Exactly.
You
Get
hear
you connected.
me?
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. So, that was good.
All right. Well, look, that's all I had. Was there something else? Oh man, I forgot to
Oh,
start talk about the game when the first talk intro, the women's NCAA game, the championship. That was a good game. You missed it. That was supposed to be jargon for the front end, but I missed it. But I still wanted to throw it out there.
take it out the end. You can end with it, did good
Yeah,
game.
pretty
Who
much.
won? I didn't get to see it.
No, that you missed a good one. I was trying to see if I had any notes.
Did you go
Uh,
somewhere and watch it yesterday?
yeah, I ended up
It looked
going
like you was somewhere.
to the cigar bar after. I was at
Oh,
home and they had me amped up and I wasn't getting the energy that I wanted at home. So they didn't know. I'm making them. I'm like, what happened? Who playing? I was like, look, if I gotta explain everything to you, then
well, I don't want to do
yeah,
this. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna go somewhere else. Somebody that
we
know.
ain't doing that. No, that's probably it. I did want to bring up that resilience piece, and I'm glad we was able to pick that apart with a recent experience that you had. Um, so yeah, that's it, man. That's all I got. What you got?
Oh, no, we ain't gonna go there. All
What?
right, look. Because you know how we get, man. We go for
I mean,
hours.
if you had some, you had some. If not, you can hold
I,
it back.
I always have something, whether or not if I use it or not is
Okay.
all dependent. You remember this book, don't you? The Richest Man
Oh
in Babylon.
yeah, I love
So
it.
this is one of my gold books. Yeah, it's only 90 pages,
One of
y'all.
my early
But
finds. Yeah,
man, this thing had a nugget in it, and
just
it was
one.
crazy.
Crazy.
I'm only on page 11. T.
Oh okay. Oh
I'm
okay.
speaking. Yeah, I'm speaking about there's several nuggets in
Yeah.
here, but I'm speaking about the one nugget that I seen that technically opened up my eyes, where it was being presented to me all the way from childhood, and I'm gonna say childhood as far as business and illegally. So the man says, a part of all I earned was mine to keep. And with the phrase, he says the misconception is that everything that people of mine, everything that they're making is a part of theirs to keep. But nah, because you got bills, you got all the things that you're gonna pay. And he says, nah, that's not it. The concept is the standpoint to take a tenth of it for yourself to be able to keep in order to invest in yourself and furthermore. But what I like about what he's saying and everything that he got that's additional to it is he says that basically when you're doing that, okay, you're a slave to the jury, you're a slave to the clothes, you're a slave to the food, you're a slave to the job. Not trying to offend nobody, but you are a slave to the job. You're a slave to the government. You're a slave to all these forms of factors where they have established something as far as passive income some form of fashion of income where they built their company, corporation, whatever, and having someone else work for it, right? The first time I was introduced to this concept, but didn't understand the application of it, was when I got into the streets and they says, don't be a user of the product you sell. But what you do, don't get high off your own supply. That's what it is. So, contrary to that, we would be like, all right, if I sell cocaine, I'm just not going to use cocaine. But you pop pills and you smoke weed and you do any other type of drug. So you might not be enslaved to your own drug to support that habit, but you still enslaved to someone that is supporting a habit. Mm-hmm. So you still to slave to it. So then I took it to a deeper concept when I got incarcerated. When you get incarcerated, now we open up that mindset that you're enslaved, modern day slavery though, because you have now placed yourself in that position to work for somebody else like a dog and get paid nothing. Okay, cool. Now when you come out here in the free world, you get a job, you work it, you're still a slave for somebody else. I chose not to invest in Chick-fil-A. I'm not even gonna blast the reasons why, but I'm not definitely trying to be in a predicament where someone else is getting higher royalties than me working an excessive amount of work. There, I still feel like I'm just a higher paid slave. So in my mind, what the concept kind of teaches, he says, when you take and spend for yourself first before you spend for everyone else, your money becomes your slave, which then can have children that can be more slave. Like when we think about slavery time, when you see when they're born into slavery and so forth, that there are now products that are being used that shipped on to make more money to invest in it. I never looked at it in that small increment on how these things pay off into is fact when you're doing these things, the money is the same concept of how these jobs, how those other things that we give our hard-earned money to becomes a slave to produce the income in order to generate over time to make the richest man in Babylon. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was good. And that was just for the first read. And I'm glad I did have this goal. Look, my goal is small. We need 1 page a week, but I'm playing catch up right now. So since I'm playing catch up, I had to read a lot of it. But just getting that off of that 1 page right there, nugget, I think my 1 page or 2 pages a week for this 12-week goal is good, man. I'm getting something on there that I can expound because, man, that was very fruitful to me to bring to my understanding as far as, you know, how these little small phrases that was being taught to us all these times was actually teaching us something in the long run, but we're just not seeing it from that perception.
Yeah.
What you think about it?
Shoot, man. Look, that probably went a little too deep for me. I'd have missed it. No, wait. But no, okay, read the statement.
Look, I'm a read the statement and then I'm gonna read the parts surrounding it.
Okay.
So
Well,
probably
I guess I'm missing the correlation. But go ahead.
Right, probably because of my input on how it like fit
you
me.
Gave you a real life example. Okay,
my real life example. Right. He said, so look, I found a road to the wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep. And so you will. Okay, I'm gonna go down a little bit forward. He says, that was sufficient to change the heart of the sheep herder into the heart of the money lender, he replied. But all I earn is mine to keep. Is it not? I demanded. He says, far from it. He replied, do you not pay the garment maker? Do you not pay the sandal maker? Do you not pay for the things you eat? Can you live in Babylon without spending? What have you to show for your earnings of the past month? What for the past year? Fool, you pay to everyone but yourself. You labor for others. As well be a slave and work for what your master gives you to eat and wear. If you did keep for yourself 1/10 of your earn, how much would you have in 10 years? My knowledge of the numbers did not forsake me, and I answer as much as I earn in 1 year. You speak but half the truth, he retorted. Every gold piece you save is a slave to work for you.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's what a correlation
So
was.
I got it. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and make me pull out my book. I'm pretty sure I got it highlighted. Okay,
I know you got that highlighted.
so the general aspect of it was about saving because
It's
that
saving.
book
That's
gives
the
some
general
practical
aspect.
give some practical lessons in life. Like if you have no moral values or principles, I suggest you read The Richest Man in Babylon. It'll give you a 10 by the end of the time you finish your book. Give you 10
At
good.
least. At least 10.
So that one is about saving, but not only saving, letting you know that money is a tool to work for you. And if you don't keep any for yourself, you are working for the money
Right.
and
And
not letting
also,
it work for you.
exactly. And also prioritizing yourself
Oh yeah,
over other things.
exactly. Well, I
It
mean that's a whole another level. I
is
mean,
all, but it's still a moral principle. I
it
was just saying
is.
that it's
It is
just to that one page because
because
in
now I was
go
just
ahead.
saying because just on the journey, like I don't know. I'm gonna get to a point where I can label each uh part of the journey. You know what I'm saying? From feeling to phenomenal. Like I've been researching this, experiencing it my own, and researching and having encounters with others. But there is a part of it that probably won't eventually. I'm not gonna label it right now, but it's called the grind. And that's where you kind of find your groove. You may find you a job or two jobs, or you may have a job and a hustle, and you're able to make your money. Like it may not be as much as you want, but you're able to make ends meet. So once you transition out of that grind, where it's more of focus and vision and being more intentional with your time, I can definitely see how that principle plays a part because it's the difference between I don't have to stretch myself in the grind to make every dollar. I have I have grinded and worked it out and bought some of my time back so now I can invest in my true
Absolutely.
passion, my true gift, or my family or other things that I value.
Absolutely. It gets
But
you out the
I
rat
had to tell
race.
y'all, wait, let me say this. I had to tell you that. Real talk. In the specific fell into phenomenal journey, that grind is just as much physical as it is mental because you could be clearly out of the grind like physically but you still there mentally you won't allow yourself to get into the next state to where you can put yourself first like because you just caught up in your head with that whole and I hate that we've been using
You
a
know what?
lot. Go ahead.
I get that. Yeah, you're right. Because you've been so conditioned for so long to be in that mode. Once you're out of that mode, you fail to transition from that state into another one. It's like the experiment that they do on the rats by having electricity around them.
Mhm.
Once they take the electricity gate around them, they so fearful of every time that they touch that gate that it electrocuted them that they won't even go outside the boundary and now that they're actually free.
Yeah, I ultimately just describe surviving versus thriving. Like that getting out of the grind is the thrive. Like you become more intentional. You have more peace. You no longer have to overexert yourself to meet what
Wait a
you.
minute.
Yeah.
So the survival is the grind.
Yes. 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 The hustle, the grind. What they sell us in society is nothing but survival mode, baby. You're not living. Yeah.
Ooh, that's good.
They sell us
Hey, I kind of
survival.
figured that in that sense that because you just got to keep pumping and come pumping and pumping and pumping and going. You got to sacrifice your time, your sleep, your everything in order to get it, and get it. But then it's just like that tiresome and that burden that's on you that's weighing down. It wants you to get it. You are feeling.
Uh oh.
You're feeling like getting. No, for real, I gotta pay. It hurts, but you have that you feeling of getting out in that thriving mode. But I never seen it in the okay. That makes total sense. And now what you're saying though is after you didn't grind so hard for it, when it's time to make that transition, you might move out of it physically, but then you're still putting so much time in the survivor mode
Mhm.
while you're in thriving physically, putting so much time in everything when you really should be appropriating it somewhere else because now it's a different season. Is that what you're saying?
Well, yeah, that's one version, but more so, that's one version, and I want to hold that as to be true. But another thing I was thinking of is staying. Oh, look, we got to call 911. What you doing?
No, you ain't got to call
Okay.
911. I probably just need a
My point
stretch.
is staying in the grind mode because you won't allow your mind to move to the thrive. Like, yeah, that it's actually
Okay,
yeah. I'm just saying
okay.
some people
So,
stay in the grind longer because, or put it to you like this, and this is the only way that I can really just find an example, and it's kind of poor example because I don't want to come off as an ageist or nothing like that, but it's like somebody who's getting out of prison and they're a senior citizen, like 60, 65. I don't know what your financial situation is, but say you do have to work. You don't have that many grind years.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So to even force yourself to be in that mode and not allow yourself to enjoy other facets of life, you're missing out on living.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like
right,
thriving come that transition from survival to thrive comes in many forms and stages depending on who we are and what we need. But
right.
we also have to be honest with ourselves with where we are. You know what I'm saying? So if that person gets getting out of prison, being an older person, they have to spend out they time in a group home. Okay, that means they don't have to work that many hours and they can enjoy other aspects of life. There's no need for you to overly commit to a grind and have your mind set on that to where you don't even allow yourself physically to have a life.
Okay, I got you. Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just my aspect. Like one, that self-awareness piece is so important, which I help people identify, what I'm saying, that self-awareness. I can help you with that. But it's like there's a trigger. The more you know yourself and the more you apply these things and establish morals, values, vision for yourself, there's something that happens and your body will let you know when it's time to move on. When you made the transition from survive to thrive,
Right,
whichever trigger, it depends on who you are. Like for me, it was my body. For
right.
somebody else, it might be their mind. For somebody else, it may be their heart. But you have to have these spaces and places cleared and tried and true. So heart probably was last. I don't know if anybody can follow their heart because they're gonna be
Right.
doing all kind of crazy stuff.
I
But
think right. I think mine would be my mind.
okay,
Yeah, because I think mine would be my mind would should trigger that and be like that. And it's more than likely because of the way I'm observative and how I analyze certain things. I was like, but you know what? And doing those numbers, I can see this here, and I think I'll be okay. I think it's just that time. Period.
exactly. So let me bring it home when I say your mind and your body might tell you. So for me, when I went from survival mode to thrival mode, my body told me because I did a lot of resting. But in that resting, I was thinking, I was like, should I go to work? Do I need to go to work? Let me look at my bills. Oh, I got enough money. I don't need to do that.
Okay, see y'all.
I would only be doing that for the money. Is that who I am? Am I money? No. So let me continue to rest.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? Like this is how you talk to yourself. Because if I don't have that conversation and I just go after the job or the gig just because I can, I'm forcing myself to stay in grind mode and missing
mm,
opportunities to
right,
just live life, to rest.
right.
Rest, have time, be around my family, be available for family gatherings. Just you know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of things that happened over that course of time when I was in rest mode.
Mm.
So, and now being on the other side, in a thriving space, um, I now manage my own time. So now I specifically, strategically plan out when and where and I need to work because I know how much it costs for me to pay my bills. And if I want
Right.
to pay extra, I can do that too. But at the end of the day, it no longer consumes all of my time and energy. Only on the
Yeah.
basis that I value other things. But
Right.
that's another deal.
That's a whole nother. The key phrase is the key word is that you value
Yeah.
other things. So it's definitely things that it's according to you and what you want and how. Yeah.
You personalize it, man.
Hmm.
You personalize it.
So
Your
it's still you
presence is
being the CEO of it.
personalized.
Huh?
Your presence is personalized.
Right. I'm new with the presence thing. So.
Huh? No, I'm saying
You
like
mean
you
like being
being
present
here.
or
You being here is
right?
personalized. The
Okay. Yeah.
uniqueness in you as an individual.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Talking about here on Earth, then,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It's definitely personalized. So that's a good point to say that. So it's definitely important for you to get there and to be present. Man, how did
Bro,
you even come up?
because scientifically, it's like a 1 in 4 billion chance for your parents to be born when they was born, for them to meet when they meet, for them to do what they did, and for you to be the one that come out. All that statistically is a one in 4 billion, I think maybe
Million.
a trillion chance.
Necessarily
Like
they
you're
are
a
teeny
one in four
tiny.
trillion chance of being here, bro. Act like it.
That's significant. Hey, that's good stuff right there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that right there shows you that you're important. You said, nigga, you matter. You matter. We need you out here in these streets, huh?
To do the right thing and show up in your most authentic self, though.
Exactly.
Not to
Right,
be out
right.
here taking up space and causing trouble.
Nah, we don't need that right there. Well, we got another space for you. They keep a light on for you for
Duh, man. We got to keep people out of there, man.
that. We
Uh,
tried to, but they
Amen.
got to receive and take this information and motivation that you give it. Other
Amen.
than that, yeah, they ain't. So yeah,
Absolutely. But yeah, nah,
that's
that's
all I
it,
had.
man. Yeah, we can wrap this thing up, man. Till next time. I hope y'all learn something, beautiful people. Uh Stay productive, impactful, and what I said, be critical thinkers. I still working on it. I forgot what I said. I need to go back and watch the other one.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right,
I,
nah, that's
I
good,
don't
man.
remember what you say. You be having some fresh ones every time. I was like,
Hey,
look, you just
I
bring
be
the
trying.
freestyle back. Yeah, you know.
I be trying. I be just trying to keep it fun and fluffy. But yeah, we out of here. See y'all next time.